Today, Play-Doh looks like it was born for childhood. Bright colors, small plastic cans, little hands pressing, rolling, cutting, smashing, building. It feels like one of those products that could only exist as a toy, but Play-Doh was not created for children. It was not invented for classrooms. It was not designed for creativity. It was not meant to become a symbol of messy childhood imagination. It was made for dirty walls. Before it became a toy, Play-Doh was a cleaning product. And the strange part is not just that it changed categories. The strange part is that the product almost died because it solved a problem that slowly disappeared. Then someone looked at the same material, the same texture, the same soft, moldable compound, and saw something completely different. Not dirt, not cleaning, not housework. Play. That was the turning point. Because sometimes a product does not need to be reinvented. Sometimes it only needs to be seen by the right person, in the right place, for the wrong use. To understand Play-Doh, you have to start in a world that was much dirtier than ours. Homes were heated with coal. And coal did not just create heat, it created smoke, dust, residue, a thin layer of grime that slowly settled into everyday life. Walls got dirty, wallpaper absorbed soot, and cleaning it was not simple. You could not just scrub delicate wallpaper with water and soap. Too much moisture could damage it. Too much pressure could tear it. The wall needed something softer, something that could lift dirt without destroying the paper underneath. That was the original job. Cootall Products, a soap company in Cincinnati, developed a soft, putty-like cleaner that could be pressed against wallpaper to pick up coal residue. It was practical, simple, useful. People did not buy it because it was fun. They bought it because their homes needed it. The product had a clear place in the world. Dirty walls existed. Wallpaper was hard to clean. Coal soot was a real problem. And this soft compound solved it. For a while, that was enough. But products are not protected just because they are useful. They survive only as long as the problem survives. And quietly, the problem began to disappear. After World War II, homes began to change. Coal heating became less common. Cleaner heating systems spread. Less coal meant less soot. Less soot meant fewer dirty walls. At the same time, washable wallpapers became more common. That was dangerous for Cootall, because the company was not just selling a product. It was selling a solution to a specific old-world problem. And that problem was fading. The product did not suddenly become bad. The texture was still there. The compound still worked. The formula still existed. But the reason to buy it was vanishing. That is a brutal moment for any business. Nothing dramatic has to happen. No scandal, no giant competitor, no terrible mistake. The world just moves. And when the world moves away from your problem, your product can become useless without changing at all. That was the trap. Cootall had a product that still existed physically, but commercially, it was losing its purpose. It was a wall cleaner in a world that needed less wall cleaner. And that could have been the end of the story. A useful product from one era, quietly buried by the next. But then the product entered a completely different room. Not a kitchen, not a living room, not a dirty house, a classroom. Kay Zufall was a nursery school teacher. She was not trying to build a toy empire. She was working with children. And children do something adults often forget how to do. They do not always respect the official purpose of an object. An adult sees a cleaner and thinks this belongs on a wall. A child sees a soft lump of material and thinks, what can I make with this? That difference changed everything. When children got their hands on the compound, they did not treat it like a cleaning product. They rolled it, pressed it, shaped it, pulled it apart, started making things. But for Kay Zufall, this was not only about keeping children busy, she saw something useful in it. When children pressed it, rolled it, pulled it apart, and shaped it with their fingers, they were not just playing. They were training their hands, small muscles, finger strength, coordination, control, the kind of simple physical work that helps children prepare for writing, drawing, cutting, building, and using their hands with more confidence. To an adult, it was just a soft cleaning compound. But in a classroom, it became a tool for development. That changed the meaning of the product. And suddenly, the product had a second life hiding inside it. The same qualities that made it useful for cleaning wallpaper made it useful for play. It was soft. It was moldable. It was reusable. It did not need complicated instructions. For cleaning, those qualities were practical. For children, they were magical. This is where the real turning point appears. The company had been asking, how do we keep selling this cleaner? But the better question was, what is this material really good at? Not in the old market, not in the old category, not in the old customer's hands, but anywhere. That is a very different question, because the product had not failed as a material. It had only failed as a wall cleaner. Kay Zufall saw what the market had missed. The problem was not the compound. The problem was the label. Once the product was seen through children's hands, everything changed. It needed a new name, a new package, a new story, a new customer. It could not look like something from the cleaning aisle anymore. It had to feel safe, colorful, creative, simple enough for a child to understand immediately. That is how the old wall cleaner became Play-Doh. A dying household product was moved into a completely different world, from soot to color, from dirty wallpaper to classroom tables, from cleaning a house to building tiny shapes with your hands. And that shift is why the story works. Play-Doh was not saved by a better cleaning campaign. It was not saved by convincing people that dirty walls were still a huge problem. It was saved because someone stopped defending the old use. That is hard for companies, because when a product starts dying, the first instinct is usually to push harder. More advertising, better packaging, a louder promise, a stronger argument. But sometimes the market is not asking for a better version of the old answer. Sometimes the old question is gone. Play-Doh survived because it escaped its original category. It moved from utility to creativity, from housework to childhood, from a product people needed less to a product children wanted more. That is the deeper lesson in the Play-Doh story. A product can contain more than one business. One version lives in the purpose it was given. Another version lives in what people actually do with it. Companies often fall in love with the first version, the official version, the intended version, the version written on the package. But markets do not always care what the inventor intended. People discover uses. Children ignore categories. Teachers improvise. Customers bend products toward their own lives. And sometimes the accidental use is more powerful than the original plan. Play-Doh was not a brilliant toy idea at the beginning. It was a cleaner that lost its world. Its future appeared only when someone noticed that children were using it better than adults were selling it. That is why this is not just a story about a toy. It is a story about attention. The product was already there. The texture was already there. The usefulness was already there. The possibility was already there. But for years, it was trapped inside the wrong meaning. Then the meaning changed. And once the meaning changed, the business changed with it. Today, when people see Play-Doh, they do not think about coal. They do not think about wallpaper. They do not think about soot on old walls. They think about childhood, color, creativity, messy hands, little shapes that last for a few minutes before getting smashed and made into something else. But hidden inside that simple toy is a sharp business truth. A product can be dying in one market and be perfect for another. The hard part is noticing before it disappears. Play-Doh did not win because someone invented a complex new technology. It won because someone saw an old product with new eyes. And sometimes that is the entire turning point. Not making something new, but finally understanding what you already have.